I just made a new Visual Studio Code setup that made me uninstall WindSurf. And yes, I know there is a lot of Visual Studio Code videos out there, but this one is completely different. It's 100% free. I combined the Gemini new models, aka the Gemini 2 Flash and the 12.0.6 experiment models, with the Copilot Arena for auto-completion, with Cline, in a way that's just perfecto. Here is the crazy part. Not only I am not coding faster with these models, but I am also avoiding paying money for Anthropic models. And also the code suggestion is not only 100% free, it have access to the greatest model like GPT-4o and the Sonnet 3.5 new. So, in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the complete setup. It will take about 5 minutes to create, and I will show you also how this setup will save you a lot of money, and I will give you some tips that will make you improve the quality result of your code. I think that's enough talking, let's just dive in. Let's start by installing the code compilation extension. Open your extension tab and write Copilot Arena, and it's automatically show up for me here, even I wrote it wrong. And this one, that's what you need to install. The Copilot Arena is a free extension on Visual Studio Code that have access to models like the GPT-4o, the Codewello, the Llama 3.1, and believe it or not, the Sonnet 3.5, all of this for free to use. After you install it, it will show up like this two dual sword on your bar, and if you open it, you will find this ranking. If you registered, it will create your own leaderboard for the model that you prefer to use. Copilot Arena have really cool gimmicky design about it. When you get a code suggestion, it will give you a 2, not 1, and you can select based on what you think is the best for you. It's actually from 2 different models. For example, here the Gemini 1.5 Pro model have beaten the Claude 3.5 Sonnet at one of the code suggestions, which is kind of fun to see. And now let's install Cline. In your extension search bar, write Cline. It will show up as Cline, previously known as Claudia Dev. This extension is amazing, but it relies heavily only on agentic models. It means like the models that can use function calling in a perfect way. Both the Gemini 12.06 experiment and the Gemini 2 Flash are agentic models, which from the new agentic era from Google. So after you install it, it will show up on your bar over here. Now we can set up the first model that we want. In API provider, I want you to select Google Gemini, and here we want to put the API key. The API key, we can get it from aistudio.google.com. You can get your API key from here or create new one, paste it and put it over here in the Gemini API key and select the model Gemini 2 Flash Experiment and hit done. Our first model have been set up. Now let's set up the second one. For some reason, Cline doesn't approve the Gemini 12.0 experiment. I have no idea why, but we can connect to it using the OpenAI compatible. If you selected this one, we're gonna need to set the base URL by ourselves and the model ID. I'm gonna leave both of them down below so you don't have to write anything by yourself. Just put your API key over here. Now we are done with setting both our model, the 12.06 and the Gemini 2 Flash. And hit done. And if you want to know which model is the best in terms of coding, it's the Gemini Experiment 12.06. This is the live bench leaderboard. I sorted by coding average. And as you can see here, the Claudia 3.5 Sonnet is the current king. But after it, immediately is the Gemini Experiment 12.06. And after that is the O1 model, not the O1 Preview or the O1 Mini. It's the actual O1 model, which is kind of funny to see it behind Claudia and Gemini in terms of coding. And if you scroll slightly down, you will find the Gemini 2 Flash Experiment. And in the Web Dev Arena leaderboard, you will find this exact same thing. Cloud Sonnet is the king, Gemini Experiment 12.06 is number 2, and the GPT-4o and the Gemini Flash 2 is number 3, which is amazing to see that the Gemini Flash is in the same quality of coding, but also faster than the GPT-4o. I have here a brand new project using Next.js 15 with Tailwind setup, and I'm gonna try to build an e-commerce page, the main page, using these two models. But before we start, let me introduce you to the most underrated tip called prompt enhancement. Prompt enhancement is something that a lot of people don't use, and I have no idea why. It changed the way that I code. It provides you with a better quality for coding when you use it. Here, for a simple example, I'm using bolt.new, which is an amazing also coding assistant for web development. And I tell it I want to build an e-commerce web page in JSX using Next.js app router with Tailwind CSS using dark colors, make the design modern and clean. And I'm not clicking create, I'm clicking on this kind of sparkling star icon. And here it's creating for me enhanced prompt. Like as you can see here, create a modern minimalist e-commerce website using Next app router and Tailwind CSS. The design should follow this specification. Color scheme, layout requirement, hero section, product grid section, include modern UI elements, technical requirement, and please provide the JSX code with proper component structure and Tailwind CSS classes for this implementation. This have been created from a few lines that I just wrote. You can also use any other model, but I prefer the lazy way. The lazy way is the fastest way using bolt.new enhancement prompt. And I can copy this, go to Cline, and I have here this project. I'm gonna basically copy paste the enhanced prompt over here, but I just added one thing using this project, create modern and minimalist all the prompt over here, and I added the entire app folder inside Cline. You can add and remove any file that you want by using the A sign. It will open this drop down menu for you. You can select add folder, add files, problems, paste URL from, and hit enter. Let's see what will happen. The first thing that it did is read the entire app router file and understand the requirement. It looked to the project setup, and now it's editing and adding the main color inside the prompt. And I just have to click save. So after a few minutes, it have been done creating every single components automatically for us and set up everything inside the layout and the main page. And this the result that I got. I know it's just initial start, and to be honest, it's quite good. I mean, like it's using placeholder colors, creating button on hover, time, name the product, and created the fake data. It's created this kind of good initial setup for this kind of page. It have created an navbar with different link, search input, and icon for the shopping cart. Now we need to improve this page to make it look better. The initial prompt was good for the setup. Right now I want to add icons. I want to add fake images from Unsplash. I want to add more details into the inputs. I want to add hover effects. I want to make it responsive. I have noticed something about the Gemini model in general. If you didn't give it a lot of details and specify what you want exactly, it will create very bad, low quality code, and you don't want this at all. Always start with the main initial layout that you want for your page, then build on top of it. The error 429, status code, nobody. That means that we hit the limit for the free plan. I just want to show you this actually. I don't want you to panic when you see this error. Just wait few seconds. We're using the free plan. Yeah, it's kind of sucks to see this error, but trust me, I have been hitting also rate limit of Claude Sonnet 3.5 and the Haiku model, and it's extremely annoying. So let's click retry and see. Now back to work like nothing happened. This is the result that I got after I have been playing a lot with the prompting. The start is amazing. The hero section itself is really clean. The design itself is extremely clean. I added React icons, improved the style, added more information to the products, created a footer. All of this have been created by the Gemini 12.06. But when I felt like the model is not need to sync, I switched to the Gemini 2 Flash, which is insanely fast. For example, when I have a couple of few images that is broken, I switched to the Flash model. But when I wanted to improve the style of the product card, I switched back to the 1206. And to be honest with everyone watching this video, this is not a replacement to the Sonnet 3.5, but it's a very good free option that you can use. There is other few steps that we can use to enhance the performance of Gemini. The first one is this custom instruction that I found on Reddit. This is like one of the best custom instruction that I have seen so far, and I got it from a month ago on Reddit. You can copy it, go ahead to Cline, you're gonna click on the settings icon, and whatever model that you use, I'm currently using the Flash Experiment 2, you will put it inside the custom instruction box over here, paste it inside this custom instruction box, and hit done. Every time we're gonna use right now the Flash model, it will send this instruction to the model, it will perform better. The second tip that I want you to start using from here right now is using large language model as junior developer, which mean like when we build a website or a page or a component, we usually sit down and think before we write any code what we need to this page. Do we need the icons? Do we need the inputs? Do we need what kind of style it will be? Does it have images? Does it have context? You know what I mean? It's basically planning the layout of the page. For this example, I want to step away from Cline for a few seconds to show you what I mean. This method is kind of very unique. It's called Zero Shot Chain of Thought, CoT. Here I'm asking create a new page for an e-commerce product with a fake data using same style of the project with Tailwind CSS in the Next.js app router, basically style. And here is the key component of the entire prompt. Think step by step. This is what they call it zero shot chain of thoughts. This helps the large language model to avoid skipping steps that will improve the reasoning. And it's extremely important and it's also extremely easy. If you click run, you will see that it starts to create steps first before it writes any code. I'm gonna do the same exact prompt but in Cline. This time I'm gonna just give it the folder app, which have almost every single line of code that we need, and I'm gonna paste the entire prompt over here and hit run and see how Cline and Gemini will react to this prompt. And this is the result that I got using the combination of zero shots, chain of thought, and the whole instruction from Reddit. This is the page. It's really clean, but I don't like the colors. But it doesn't matter, honestly. Here added a review section with a description. I think this should be add review, not add description. And here other products like similar. It's basically added the same grid out there of the main page. And here a description of the product, details, brand, weight, warranty, dimension, the price, and option to add the card. The only thing that I think I did wrong is here, add description. This should be add review, not add description. But this is really decent. And now let's take a look to what Copilot Arena code completion will look like. I have here this snippet of code. I created this app router, returning this fake products data inside an export async function get endpoint. And if I waited a few seconds over here, the Copilot Arena code completion will kick in. As you can see here, return next response JSON product, and if I hit tab, it will automatically auto-complete this. And now as you can see here, it gives me this kind of code completion. To actually code completion, the separation is in this line, the catch next response JSON, which this I want. This is the one that I want. The second one is also not that bad, but I feel like it's have something wrong with it. To accept the first one, you have to just hit tab, and voila, the code completion have been done. You can also activate Copilot Arena inline editing by selecting this snippet of code, hit Control and I. It will open this kind of input, and I will ask it to improve this code for the API, and I will hit enter and wait a second. it did give me two different results. One with headers. First one is doing much more like caching and returning status, and I like the first one. So if you want to use the first one, hit Control plus 1. If you want the second code, hit Control and 2. But I want this first one, I'm gonna hit Control plus 1. And yeah, it did give me the first code. Hit save, and tada, it is, and it's done. And if you go to Copilot Arena tab, you can see that the recent edit that I made used the Claude 3.5 model, which is the new one. And the other edit was from the 405 billion parameter instructor. My last thought about this entire setup is not created to replace the Claude 3.5 Sonnet model or even the Haiku model. It have been created for the people that can't afford paying for the APIs in dollars or don't have even access to the best model out there like the Sonnet 3.5 or the GPT-4o, or maybe you don't want to pay money for using the coding assistant large language model. And another thing, when I'm using these two models, I kept switching between the Gemini Flash and the Experiment 12.06. I noticed that 12.06, even I noticed that the Gemini Experiment 12.06 have better coding quality, but the rate limit of it is kind of very annoying. So the Flash, the Gemini 2 Flash is much better in terms of rate limiting. So if you found this video respecting your time and providing you with valuable information, please hit the like and subscribe for more content like this, and leave a silly comment for the algorithm. And if you have any questions, let me know down below in the comments. Thank you for watching and see you in the coming video.